Hello everybody and welcome to the Adventures of Drawing. I'll draw a little scene for you today using a variety of pencils, a smudging tool and an eraser. So without further ado, let's dive right into this. Starting with my frame and no horizon line today. I'm going to try and draw this without one. Let's have a look. Let's see how this is going to turn out. Okay, going into the sky. Starting right here, up there. Maybe not a very dark sky today. Maybe it's a little light. Okay. Trying to not have too many gaps in between my lines. But mostly I'm just going back and forth, left and right, with a very flat area of my pencil lead. Maybe 2/3, so that I am sure that the whole sky is going to be covered. Don't want to stop too high, just in case I'll have some area of the landscape going down rather low. Okay. As usual, using the smudging tool, I'll get rid of most of the remaining line structure in the sky. Just go across left and right again. All right, so that's that. Now we want to have a couple of clouds in here. A little bit of an overcast sky today. Not too much though. You can still see the individual clouds. Many gaps in between them. A cloud right here, a cloud right there. A smaller one down here. One over there. Let's go a little bit to the left there as well. Want to have some clouds overlap. Maybe over here. Always using circular motions to effortlessly get the outlines of the clouds. Okay, one more up here maybe. Right there. Let's have this cloud go out of the frame to the right, and this one go out at the top. Maybe up here, just like that. Okay, now let me get rid of the eraser on the paper. And let's go into the shadows. The light, let's say, comes from the right. So we'll of course have shadows on the lower sides of the clouds, and then later on the left side. So I'm making very flat U shapes down here. At the bottom of every cloud. And I'll leave a couple of areas blank so that there's some three-dimensionality in those areas. Now I gotta discern which cloud is which right here. I mean, I think I made 3 clouds right there with the eraser, but right now I'm only discerning 2. So let's just make it 2 clouds right there. The important thing that I had in mind is that they overlap, which they are still going to do. So I'll have a big one right there with a little bit of a larger lower side area. Goes right over here, over there, and then in front of it is this one that's right here. Let me get a little bit of an extension to the right for this one. Okay, and that one goes up to this point right here. All right, and maybe there's a little larger, lower surface area over there to the very right as well. Then we've got this one. Right here. And the last one up there. I've noticed that we've got someone popping right in every time I go live. I really like to see that. If you're one of the regular ones, I'm guessing you're sort of a shyer person who maybe doesn't want to get chatted up by me. So maybe it's just a different person every time, so that's cool as well, that people check out the stream. But if you're the same person, let me just say that I'm really happy that you dropped by, and I'm guessing that you check out the stream afterwards, after it's done, and so that there's no risk for you to have to interact with me. I can totally understand that. I'm definitely introverted as well, so I just wanted to say that, yeah, I noticed that, and that I'm really grateful for people to come in and check the stream out, whether it's while I'm live or afterwards. Just wanting to say thanks for checking out what I'm doing here, no matter the time. Do it whenever you're comfortable with doing it. All right, one cloud done right here. Going up to this one, very up there in the sky. A little bit more shadows to the left side of this huge volume popping out right there. And then a couple in the middle and less shadows to the right side of it. Maybe something in the middle of this area right here as well, like that. Okay, going more to the left. There's a little bigger volume here as well. Gets a little more shadow to the left, and just a couple in the middle and to the right. Okay, this one down here. Next is this one. Another larger volume right here. That gets a couple more shadows on the left side. Just always the same thing, you know? Once you've figured out the principles, it's just a step-by-step thing that you do. And now over here, and the last cloud right there. Maybe like so. Okay, going to the smudging tool again, and I'll go across the lower side of each cloud and take just a tad bit of graphite up into the very lower area of the side area to create a transition. And then I'll grab some more of the graphite from those lines on the side area of the cloud and pull it to the right from the side of the shadow area of each volume a little bit more into the light area of each volume to create a smooth transition. Makes the clouds look really three-dimensional and fluffy. Alright, let's get this one up here next. I'm pressing down very, very lightly here. I don't want to make those shadow values all the same. Then the one area, the lower area or the side area of the cloud would look very flat if you don't have changes in value in there. You want to keep those changes in value from where you've left a little lighter areas. Going up here. Right there. next one over here, and then to the very right. Okay. Next one down here. Now the side volumes again. The one right here. Maybe that one needs to be a little darker down here to have this value right there equal to this one further down. I think more like this. Okay. Fluff it up nice and good. Gotta keep myself from going into the next cloud already. Now it's this one's turn. A little transition from the lower area to the side area, and then fluffing up the side area. Oh, I'm realizing I forgot the side area down here. That's the least of our problems though. There's nothing in front of it, so that can be easily fixed. It happens when you draw or paint. You lose sight of the details. That's why artists often step back from their canvas or their drawing, because then the brain picks up areas that look strange and different. And you pick up things like these. It's the same thing as writing on a board. We sometimes just forget letters, even teachers do, because they're so close up to what they do. And our attention is not meant to be on a very wide area, it's more focused. Okay, now that we've got the sky and a couple of happy little clouds up there, I will try and set up the landscape down there. So I want there to be some hills. Those are not going to be mountains. They're not too far off in the distance. It's just some hills. Down here, there's one maybe, and then another one coming in right here. Maybe down there. There's one right in front of the other one right here. And then we've got our foreground maybe like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is erase the lower part of this cloud. And now I want some trees on this hill, on all the hills, but first of all I'm going to work on the overall shape. They're going to be a lot darker than the sky, so I can just go in with the HB pencil and make them a lot darker. And I can just go into the foreground like this. I don't have to pay attention to how far my lines go down here, since I can later erase them once I go into the foreground. I just have to take care of not going into the sky, since that would be more difficult to erase the lines that go in there, and then afterwards making those areas have the same value as that area of the sky. That's possible, of course, but it's a lot harder than just being a little careful and not going into the sky again. Hey there, how's it going? Hope you like what you see. Thanks for dropping by. Okay. I really want those hills to be even darker, but I mean, they're going to be darker once I add the trees. So maybe that's enough already. Just let me make this go towards the foreground right here. And then I want to make them a little smoother. Before I do that, I want the upper edge to be a little darker though. This one up here, the one right in front of it, right there. And then the ridge of this hill right here. And we've got more people dropping into the stream. How's it going? How are you doing? That's a lovely thing. Sometimes I just sit here talking to myself, or most of the time, which is, of course, because I'm not too popular. Maybe not popular at all, you could say. But also maybe due to the times I stream sometimes, because it's irregular, and sometimes it's very late or very early. All right. I want to get rid of the line structure here, since this is just for the general value of the entire hill. The structure is going to come with the trees on them. So I think I'll still use the HB pencil for that. Let me get a better transition right here. I think that's better. Okay. Now, for those trees on the hills, I just chain together a couple of M shapes all the way on the outline. Maybe some of those trees poke out like that. And we've got some lines that go inside of the volume. And each time we do that, we create another layer on this hill. And that's an important thing, I think, to not just go around the outside and then follow the outline and make trees like this, one row below the outline and then one row below that, another one, and one row below that another one. That would make the mountain look kind of boring. If you have lines going inside of it like this, and some of them just inside like so, you create different layers and you make it look more natural and more interesting. One right here. And then let's have a couple of individual trees poking out now and again. Another line right there, one right here. And now I'm sort of just filling those areas up with a couple more trees. But I still try to keep those areas that I created, and I'll not fill up the entire space. Just below each line, I'll add a couple more trees to make them look fuller, like it's an entire forest up in there. The entire mountain or hill is overgrown with trees. Just like so. Okay, going down to the next one, right here. First, I'll go along the outline of this hill down below with many, many trees along the entire outline. And then I'll create lines that go inside, like so. Make them go up and down to make them look interesting and make it look like they're on an irregular surface. And now that that's done, I'll fill those areas up again with a couple more trees. Down here, like so, maybe one more line going in like this. One more down here. Maybe like so. And then all those trees. Fill it up. Fill the areas. Okay, some individuals poking out here and there. Makes it look really detailed. But all I'm doing is making a little arc that takes me just a split second to draw. But for the observer, it looks like I drew every individual tree. Okay, now I've got this last hill right to the right of my scene. And of course, we just do the same thing. Get the outline full with trees, and then create some lines and elevation within that. Over here, maybe this one has an inclination. It goes down like this. And there's another ridge where we can see the treetops coming out like that. And we need a little bit more to the lower right side here. Let's have one right there. And what you can do here is you can make those trees right here a little larger than those in the distance. I don't know if you can pick up on that in the stream, but I'm trying to make those right here about twice as large as those right here. Creates the idea that the trees on this hill on the right are closer than the other ones. Now that I've got all those lines, all the elevations set up, I will draw a couple more trees below each line, again, to fill those areas, make it look like there are a lot of trees. The entire hill is covered in trees. That's a huge forest there. Up there a little bit more. Just gotta make sure you don't fill it all up though. Leave some areas blank. If you fill it all in, the area is going to feel flat. Also, what I have to concentrate on more is make those trees different sizes. Sometimes I just go along drawing like I'm drawing M shapes, like in primary school, trying to make them all the same size. And same sizes are good for a beautiful handwriting, but right here, out in nature, those trees are some larger, some smaller. So the more variety you get in there, the more natural it looks. Okay, I think we've got this hill right here covered beautifully. So I'll just pop in some individual trees in there. Make it look really detailed, like I've paid attention to every single tree, like I'm drawing a real landscape in here, not just making stuff up in my mind as I go along. Okay, now I think this still looks a little flat. I didn't do an awesome job when giving those hills the right value, but I can just add that in now. So for every ridge, every line of trees poking out, I'll make those areas a little darker. And that should give those hills even more three-dimensionality. Going up there all the way. All the areas with trees I'll make a little darker. Like so. Right here. And look at the way I'm holding my pencil right here. I'm not grabbing it at the tip, while grabbing it at the very front gives you a lot of control. It makes you draw very, very detailed things. But many times you just want a general impression and you want to cover more ground. So if you choose a grip that makes you able to draw a lot of detail, your brain will automatically want to draw that detail, and you're not going to advance in your drawing. I'm making very, very crude lines right here, and you see that it fills up those areas just fine. It doesn't look like those are bad lines, or I don't know what I should call them. It just makes me go faster here, and the irregularity in those lines through my grip get a lot more detail in here. Okay, I think that's really neat. So we can go on to the foreground right here. And I was planning to have 2 layers in the foreground. I've got to quickly think about that right now. So yeah, let me get rid of the edge of this hill down here. Just erasing that area down there. And then, thanks for liking the stream. We can have a couple of trees growing on the edge of this hill right here. Maybe going up to this point. I'll just indicate where the trees are going to grow. Those are just the tree trunks. A couple more in here. Okay, and I think I'll switch to the 3B pencil now, just to get this area a little darker. So in order to set it apart from the midground, or background if you want to call it that, those hills back there. And right here, you can't really discern the differences between the single trees. So I'm just making a general outline. And now I'll have to create some volumes in there. Maybe like that. Now within those volumes, we can see maybe a couple of leaves poking out. Before I do that, I'll maybe even erase this area of the hill behind it, just so that I can have brighter areas for the light areas later. So let me set this up again, those areas. And before I go into the detail, maybe I should indicate the overall volumes right here. So we can see the left areas of a couple of trees, and those are going to be darker than the right areas. So I'm just making that with the HP pencil right now. Couple of dark areas in there, and a couple of light areas. And then maybe a transition with some very loose cross-hatching. Okay. Now that looks more like the volumes on a tree. Now I can go in there and add some detail, some structure. Got some volumes down below here as well. Just some curly lines that create the idea of foliage on those trees. It's almost the same thing I did for the trees right here. But now each curl represents a smaller part of the tree and not an entire tree. Okay. Got the darker areas. Now I'll go in with the HB pencil and draw just a little bit of detail in the light areas. And it's the same thing again. Just some curly lines. Okay, and that quickly, we've got an entire row of trees right here. Now I'll just indicate some darker areas down here. And it's important to note that the dark areas, or those lines that I'm making right now, are not the tree trunks. The tree trunks get a little bit of light, and therefore one side of them sticks out as a light area in this lower area of the forest. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm drawing the darker areas that are recessed in between the tree trunks, so I can make them wider. It's not just one line that represents a trunk, it's a little bit of a wider area that represents the dark area between the tree trunks. Okay, I'm not sure how much more I need right here. I've got to envision a little bit right now. Okay, I'll just go with the following. I will sort of fill this area up right here. Just a couple of lines. Then go in with the smudging tool to make the area a little smooth. And then I'll use the 3B pencil again to go along the edge right here to set this apart from the background, and also to indicate a little bit of detail on this area of the hill right there. Maybe there's no tree growing. This could be a meadow right here. Make sure to make lines go outside of the frame and down below to the next layer down here. Okay. Next thing I want to be there is a little tower. Maybe there's a village in there with a church. So I'll get in a couple of rooftops. Maybe one right there. One right here from another angle. Let's not make it too many though. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Just 2 rooftops poking out right there, and then the church tower poking out like this. Okay. I'm just making this roof right here very dark. Maybe like so. It's just a rectangle. And I hope once this is done, it's going to be visible as a building by association with the other ones right here. Maybe just this right there, leaving out a lot of details, not drawing in any windows there. You could see them at this distance, but I don't want to pay attention to that amount of detail right now. But I want a little bit of detail in this tower right here. So it's got a left side that's in the shadow. And then a right side that's turned towards the light. Gotta erase all those things in the background right here. Like that. Okay, then get rid of the eraser residue. Gently wipe that off. Knock it off. All right. Now we've still got those trees in here. Should have maybe also erased the trees behind the shadow area of this tower, but maybe now they're not visible anymore. Okay, the top of the tower right here has a shadow area to the left. And then there's the light area on the right, maybe like so. So, okay, I just want a quick little window in here, just like that. And then some darker areas right here. This lower area is a little darker than the top as well, since this top is sort of sphere shaped, and this area right here is a little darker, and so is this one right there. Okay, then maybe there's an edge right here, some protruding area, maybe a supporting beam right here, another one in this corner, and another one in that corner, of course. And then just like on the left side, we've got a window right here where we can see the darker area of the wall going in like that. Okay, there we've got our little village with the church tower. Maybe I should extend this building to go down here. And now all that's left is the foreground. So I'll just give that a general value as well. Just like that. Go across with the smudging tool. And then using the 3B pencil, I'll go along the edge right here to set it apart from the other layers. And also to create some areas that go inside here. Maybe some more details up in there to set it apart more. Maybe like so. And then we'll have a little bit more detail right here in the foreground. Let's say we've got a lot of grass growing on this meadow right here. Okay. I'm not going to cover this entire area down here, but I want there to be a little bit more detail, just to set it apart from the midground and the background. Creating more areas of interest. Just drawing a lot of blades of grass right here. Just single lines going up and down. You can pay a lot of attention to how you make those lines, make them thicker at the bottom and then fade out towards the top. If you pay a lot of attention to that, you can make this grass look really nice. But I'm trying to make this a little bit quicker. I want to see if I can finish this drawing within an hour. So I've got a little under 5 minutes left. So yeah, I'm almost just going up and down, zigzagging right here. Maybe at the edge of the area, you can see the blades of grass sticking out against the midground. So we see them up here. I've got to go across this entire ridge of the hill in the foreground, just going along all the way. All the way across here. And this is a nice way to close any gaps between the foreground and the midground, or between any type of layer. Right here you can see that this outline of the building stops a little bit above the next layer. And if you place something in between right here, they join right up and there's no gap anymore. Also, this is another type of making layers overlap. Right here you see those blades of grass overlap with the trees in the distance, which makes your scene look more coherent and more three-dimensional. Okay, I think that's it with the grass. Got 2 more minutes, so maybe, just maybe, we've got a fence growing and not growing, being placed in here for some farm animals. It's made of very old logs of wood, so they're all sorts of bent. Doesn't have to be straight lines. Now, to the right of each of those lines, I erase a small area so that we can have a light area right here and right there. I'm not going to risk it for this last post right there. I just make this with the 7B pencil right here. Okay, and then we've got this one right there. Just leave the right area. And if you've got a lot of time, you can make all sorts of grains of wood in there by making wavy lines in here. Now there's a wire in between those posts. Get this in right here, and then it goes down below there, and that's why we can't see it anymore. And just below 1 hour, And we are done with our scene for today. So let me clean up the edges. Gotta cut in here a little bit more to make this edge close up with the end of those clouds. And then I need to really go in there to erase the stronger marks. Get a straight edge up here. And one right there. Maybe a little bit more to the right. Maybe there. Okay. Oh, we've got someone dropping into the chat. You magicked a nice scenery just with some arcs and a couple of lines. I'm trying to do my best. Okay. Now go across down here. All right. There we go. Thanks for sticking with me. It was really lovely to have a live audience. It did happen before, but yeah, as I said, mostly I draw and talk to myself right here, and then people watch the VOD, which of course is okay as well. But this makes me really feel like I'm making progress with the streaming thing. Okay, we've got the sun coming in right here. Yeah, I'm going to cover that up. So that I can, in the end, present the entire thing. Okay. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching what I do. I hope you get something out of it. Maybe some inspiration or motivation to be creative yourself, or to get some work done, using it as ASMR in the background, or just a relaxing watch after work. If you find yourself coming back to the channel, please consider subscribing, leaving a like on the stream, and drop down in the comments to tell me what you think about what I'm doing right here. So, with all that said, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.